You know that feeling when you ask ChatGPT something and it just gets it, like eerily well? I've been obsessed with figuring out how that actually happens. 2 billion people use this thing. 2 billion! But here's what's wild. Almost nobody actually knows what's going on under the hood. So I spent weeks diving into the research papers, the architecture diagrams, all of it. And honestly, it's way more fascinating than I expected. Today, we're going to break it all down. No fluff, no hand-waving, just the actual mechanics of how this thing works. Quick context, AI's been around since the 50s, but it kinda sucked for decades. Then 2017 happened. A paper called Attention is All You Need changed everything. Fast forward to now, we've got GPT 5.2, Claude, Gemini, a full-on AI arms race. And here's what's important. GPT, Claude, Gemini, and Llama, they all work the same way underneath. Learn this once, you understand them all. Okay, step 1, and this is where most explanations already go wrong. ChatGPT doesn't read text at all. It breaks everything into these chunks called tokens. Hello world isn't 2 words to the model, it's just data chunks. And here's where it gets interesting. The word unhappiness, that's not one token, it's un plus happiness. The model learned to break words into reusable pieces. Pretty clever, right? Every token gets a number. Hello is 15496. That's it. The model never sees actual letters, just these ID numbers. GPT-4's vocabulary, over 100,000 tokens. Words, punctuation, code, emoji, even partial words in languages you've never heard of. There's also these invisible special tokens that mark where messages start and end. Think of them like hidden punctuation. Okay, but this is where it gets really cool. Step 2, embeddings. This is honestly where the magic starts. We're turning numbers into meaning. Each token becomes this massive list of numbers, like 12,000 of them. Each number captures some aspect of what that word means. Wild, right? And here's the beautiful part. Words that mean similar things have similar numbers. Happy and joyful point in almost the same direction. If you could visualize all these vectors, similar words cluster together. Royalty words here, animals there. The model figured this out on its own. Nobody programmed it. And okay, this is genuinely mind-blowing. You can do math with words. King minus man plus woman equals queen. The relationships are literally encoded in the numbers. It works for everything. Paris is to France as Tokyo is to Japan. Big is to bigger as small is to smaller. The patterns just emerge. One catch though, word order matters. Dog bites man is very different from man bites dog, so we add position information too. Step 3, the transformer. This is the architecture that started everything. One research paper in 2017 and boom, the entire AI field changed direction. Super quick refresher. Neural networks are just layers of connected nodes. Data goes in, gets transformed, patterns get learned. A transformer block does 2 things, attention, which we'll get to, and a feed-forward step. Stack enough of these together and you get intelligence somehow? GPT-3 has 96 layers, GPT-4 has 120-something, GPT 5.2 over 200. Each layer refines the understanding a little more. There's also these skip connections that let information bypass layers. Sounds minor, but it's actually crucial for training deep networks. So data flows through layer after layer. Raw tokens go one end, and something that understands language comes the other. All right, this is the part everyone calls the secret sauce, and honestly, they're not wrong. Step 4, attention. This is what makes everything work. Think of it like a spotlight. When you see the word bank, you need to look at other words to know if it's money bank or riverbank. Attention finds what matters. It works with 3 things, Q, K, and V. Q asks, what am I looking for? Key says, here's what I've got. Value gives the actual info, like a really efficient librarian. Every token calculates how much attention to pay to every other token. You get this matrix of weights, basically a recipe for which words to combine. And here's the kicker. It doesn't just do this once. It runs like 12 different attention heads in parallel. Each one learns different patterns. One head might focus on grammar, another tracks who he or she refers to, another finds subject-verb relationships. They specialize. The cat sat on the mat. Attention connects cat to sat and mat. It's building a web of relationships between every word. How much can the model see at once? GPT-4, 128K tokens, GPT 5.2, 400K, but Llama 4 Scout, 10 million. That's like an entire code base. The context window race is insane right now, but honestly, for most conversations, 128K is already overkill. Okay, here's where my jaw dropped. $500 million. That's what training GPT 5.2 probably costs. $500 million. Step 5. Training. These models learn from basically the entire internet. Books, Wikipedia, Reddit, GitHub, news articles, trillions of words. The scale is genuinely incomprehensible. GPT-5's training data makes Wikipedia look like a post-it note, and the training task, deceptively simple. Predict the next word. The cat sat on the blank. What comes next? Do this billions of times and apparently you get intelligence? Every wrong prediction is an error. The model adjusts. Over billions of examples, it gets better and better at predicting. You can visualize it like a ball rolling downhill towards the lowest error rate. Gradient descent, they call it. But here's the thing. A model that just predicts words isn't necessarily helpful. It might be racist, offensive, whatever. So we need another step. RLHF, reinforcement learning from human feedback. Real people rank responses. This one's better, this one's harmful. And the model learns to be nicer, more helpful, less problematic. There's a whole reward model that scores outputs. The AI literally learns to maximize human approval. Kind of trippy when you think about it. And in 2025, these models don't just read text. They see images, they hear audio, they generate video. Full multimodal AI. Sora 2 is wild. So how does it actually generate a response? This part is weirdly simple. Step 6. Generation. Your prompt gets tokenized, embedded, pushed through all those transformer layers, and out comes probabilities. The might be 15% likely, A might be 8%, and might be 12%. It's not picking words, it's rolling weighted dice. There's tricks to make it less random. Top K only considers the top 40 guesses. Top P takes enough options to cover 90% probability, keeps it coherent. Temperature is how wild you want it to be. Low temp is predictable and boring. High temp is creative but occasionally insane. The key thing is, it generates one token at a time, then that token becomes part of the input, then it generates the next one, token by token. Hello to hello how to hello how can to hello how can I help, always looking backward at what it's already written. So the whole pipeline, tokens, embeddings, transformers, attention, probabilities, output. That's it, in like 100 milliseconds. Where do the models stand right now? GPT 5.2 leads on general tests, Claude dominates coding, Gemini's best for search. There's no clear winner, depends what you need. And honestly, this stuff is changing everything. Writing, coding, education, research, it's happening so fast. What's next? GPT-6 sometime in 2026, AI that actually does tasks independently. Who knows? But the pace isn't slowing down. 1.8 trillion parameters working together every time you chat with GPT. Pretty incredible when you think about it. If you made it this far, subscribe. I'm going to keep making these deep dives. See you in the next one.